Welcome to True Crime with Strategic Eyes.
Strategic back again. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of True Crime Strategic. Today is a very special show because we're doing a pregame as we lead into what might be the final chapter in the quest for justice for Mattie Sodto. This case we've been tracking for almost 2 years now. It's going on 2 years, and it's a very sad case, probably one of the saddest cases that we have discussed on this channel. It's also the case that led us into the genre of true crime. Prior to doing this show, we did a lot of politics, social issues, stuff like that. It's this show that really made me and motivated me to do what my true calling is, which is to talk about what I do for a living, which is the investigations of victims of X crimes. And so through going on this journey of seeking justice for Mattie Sodto, I also found my calling on YouTube. I knew what my calling was in my personal life as a detective, but I knew and I finally found out what my calling was for my YouTube journey, which is to be a voice to the voiceless. So I'm very grateful for Mattie Sodto for giving me the purpose that I found on YouTube. And I'm also grateful that in this tragedy of Mattie Sodto losing her life, we also were able to develop a beautiful community, a community of solidarity and giving a voice to the voiceless, a community of survivors, victims, and warriors, and a community of love. So today's show, we're going to discuss what plea will Stephan Sterns take? Will it be a guilty plea or a no contest plea? I'm going to tell you my opinions of that, but first I want to definitely bring with you guys some news, bring you up to the speed, and then I want to play for you what the difference is between a no contest plea and a guilty plea, because a lot of people may not know what that is. And then we'll take a little bit of a break, because in an hour and a half, Mattie Sodto's trial, or rather Stephan Sterns' hearing to determine whether he's going to plead guilty or not. And even if the judge will accept the guilty plea, we don't even know. The judge may say, no, this is going to trial. We have no idea. It's going to start at 1:30 Eastern time. And big shout out to the research crew. Research crew definitely gave me the evidence that have now convinced me that it's a fact that Stephan Sterns will plead guilty. If he pleads guilty, he's at least going to be addressing both the CSAM and the unaliving trial. Now, I said that I don't think that he would take a plea unless it encompassed both of these two separate cases, but I just did not see evidence that that's actually what was going to happen. But the research crew sent me that evidence inside of my email, and I'm 100% convinced that he is going to do what I thought he would do, which is address those two cases, because it doesn't make sense to plead guilty to the CSAM, which then gives you the aggravated factor for the state to seek the death penalty when you go to the unaliving trial. He's basically sealing his fate to get a capital punishment case if he pleads guilty to CSAM and CSAM alone. It would only make sense if he pled guilty to both the CSAM and the murder, and then he receives life without parole. So let me bring you guys in on this news feed, and we'll start talking about the nitty gritty with this. Let's do it.
Mattie Sodto is expected to admit to the crimes.
Stephan Sterns is scheduled to be in court today, and we are told that he will plead guilty to both murdering Mattie and also raping her since she was a little girl. West 2's Bob Hazen is live this morning at the Osceola County Courthouse. And Bob, Stephan Sterns had been set to go on trial tomorrow.
Yeah, and that guilty plea would mean that the trial wouldn't happen, and also that the death penalty could be off the table, but a judge would have to agree to accepting that plea. Now, the trial that was supposed to start tomorrow was supposed to be for 60 counts of sexual abuse, and that Sterns raped Mattie for years and recorded video of it with his phone. Investigators say they found those videos while searching for Mattie when she vanished last year, a day after her 13th birthday party. Sterns was the boyfriend of Mattie's mom, and Kissimmee police believe that he killed Mattie and dumped her body along an Osceola County road. Prosecutors were planning to use a conviction in the sex abuse case to argue that Sterns should get the death penalty in the separate murder case. West 2's legal analyst believes they would have a strong case.
Do I think this could have likely resulted in a death sentence? Yes, absolutely, just given sort of the heinous and nature of the offense that was committed, I think it's something that the prosecutors could have.
I mean, they could have. They certainly could have argued a very strong capital punishment case. But I'm sorry to break it to you, ladies and gentlemen. See, because a lot of you guys, for some strange reason, just because Sarah Boone was a big national case, you guys assume that the attorneys that did the Sarah Boone case were rock stars. I don't really understand that. I really didn't understand why people assumed that just because the attorneys that are on the Mattie Sodto case was on the Sarah Boone case, which was probably the easiest case that a prosecutor could ever get in their career, that for some reason they were rock stars. Well, reality hit that you actually got not a rock star, but Mr.
Dirt under the bridge.
Right. They have a capital punishment case that they can take the trial. There is no constitutional right to the prosecution offering Stephan Sterns a plea deal. If they're offering a plea deal, it's because they want to. It's because they want to. Because unfortunately, we weren't given rock star prosecutors. Rock star prosecutors don't work in Kissimmee and Osceola County, a poor community. All right. Rock star prosecutors are going to work in a place where they're probably making more than $90,000 as a prosecutor. All right. What you ended up getting instead was Mr.
Dirt under the bridge.
Right. The guy who won't charge Jennifer Sodto. She will not be charged. And the guy who's now going to let a slam dunk CSAM and unaliving case disappear into a plea deal where this man will be able to stay in jail for the rest of his life and enjoy these root beer candy for the rest of his life. As much root beer candy as Stephan Sterns could eat, he now has the opportunity of having his root beer candy until the end of his days. And, you know, it's kind of like the drunk drivers. Like, drunk drivers never die. They'll mow down 50 people, hit 20 cars. They'll always survive without any injuries, and everybody else is gone. Well, guys like this, I guarantee you, Stephan Sterns is going to live until he's 92. Guarantee you. Let's keep going.
Received.
And we are told that Sterns will plead guilty in both the sex abuse and murder cases. Today, the judge will also be able to hear from Mattie's family members. That could include her mom, her dad, or other family members. The death penalty isn't necessarily off the table, though. The judge could order a sentencing trial after the plea unless there is some sort of plea deal in place. There's also a chance that the judge could reject the plea in the first place, and that would mean that the sex abuse trial would go on as planned starting tomorrow. That guilty plea hearing is set to start at 1:30 this afternoon. Right. Covering on.
All right, this is just huge, man. The big thing that listen, I know a deal is on the table. I don't know, like I'm not giving you inside information. I don't know anybody down in that county. But I know that a deal is in place because prosecutors, they like to detach themselves from the people. And they're saying, oh, it'd be cheaper for the people and less resources on the court if we just plead guilty or whatever, take the guilty plea, give them life without parole. That's how the prosecutors are thinking. The judgment that we need to be looking for is not the deal that they made with Stephan Sterns, because a deal was made. Is will the judge accept the deal? Big shout out to Dr. Cataclysm with 5 gift membership. For those people who are lucky enough to get that gift membership to True Crime and Strategics membership program, please do thank Dr. Cataclysm. What we're looking for, ladies and gentlemen, is will the judge accept the plea deal? If I'm the judge, I'm saying no. This case is too slam dunk. Plea deals should be only given if the prosecutor thinks that the case is not strong and if the family is adamant that they're looking for a plea deal and not looking for a trial. That's when plea deals should be given. This case is a slam dunk case. It deserves to go to a jury. Stephan Sterns deserves to face capital punishment. I think this is almost robbery against the people. We, the people, are not satisfied. Let me let this play out, and I'm going to ask you, the people, what do you think? Should Stephan Sterns get life without parole or should he get capital punishment? Let's put it in the comment section.
Osceola County live in Kissimmee. Bob Hazen, West 2 News.
West 2 has been tracking the Stephan Sterns case for over a year now. Jason Guy joins us in the studio. Jason, let's take a look back at how we actually got here.
Well, Alan, it was all February 26th of 2024. That's when Mattie Sodto was reported missing. Stephan Sterns, the mom's boyfriend, reportedly dropped her off near Hunters Creek Middle School. 2 days later, Sterns was arrested on charges of sexual battery and possession of child sexual abuse material after investigators say they found photos on his phone. A day after that, investigators say Sterns was the prime suspect in Madeleine's disappearance. Deputies found her body in a wooded area on March 1st. Then, 11 days later, on March 12th, 60 more charges were filed against Sterns. Many of them were related to sexual battery and molestation in this case. Meredith?
And Jason, Wesh 2 will be in the courtroom today. The moment we hear if the judge accepts the plea, we will send a push alert on our Wesh 2 news app. Be sure to have your alerts turned on.
And listen, guys, even if he was to go to trial for capital punishment, there's no guarantee that Sterns would have been sentenced to death. I think what we're asking for as the people is the opportunity to let our voices be heard, to let the criminal justice system play out. Regardless of how you look at it, these plea deals, even though the prosecutions represent the people, I get it. It still is these individuals making these choices without our input. It's still backroom deals. It's still relationships between attorneys. And believe me, ladies and gentlemen, the defense has a relationship with the prosecutor. The prosecutor has a relationship with defense. We are not being heard. Those 12 random people, it's just like a poll. When you take a poll, you take a sample, right? You take a sample of a group of people. So you want to know who's going to win for president? You're not polling 250 million people who are Americans. No, you might poll 20,000 people. But you take a sample from every different community, from different age groups, and that kind of predicts what people at large would want, right? That's what a jury is. You go into a community where the crime was committed and you pick a random sample of people to sit on that jury and to judge the accused. That is what the people want. So when a prosecutor goes behind the scenes with a defense and they're making backroom deals, they're stealing from the people the opportunity for us to get justice, for the people to get justice. This is not our justice. This is Jay Williams' justice. This is
dirt under the bridge
justice. It's not what we want. It's what you want. It's what you think we want. What we want is Stephan Sterns to go to trial and for the people to decide whether he is innocent or guilty. Those 12 people randomly selected from the community who represent Osceola County, represent Kissimmee, represent Orange County. Those are the people we want to hear from. But anyway, let's keep going.
Mattie Sodto may avoid going to trial. Stephan Sterns has an unexpected plea hearing in both of the cases against him set for Monday.
Yeah, that's just one day before his trial for sexual assault is set to begin. Fox 35's Manny Martinez is live at the courthouse in Kissimmee today. So, Manny, prosecutors seeking the death penalty, but a deal could change all that.
It could, John, and Stephan Sterns has pleaded not guilty in both of these cases, but this is our first indication that that may change here. This is a notice that was filed by his team of attorneys just this afternoon, and that means that both sides, the judge and our cameras, will pack a courtroom inside this courthouse as the cases against Stephan Sterns could be coming to a close Monday afternoon.
It's a sudden development. Suspected killer and suspected child predator Stephan Sterns.
Ooh, Steffi baby. Look at him, man. I get chills every time I see him. Steffi baby, Mr. Heartthrob. That's what the inmates think about him. Bro, you're going to have a rough life in prison, bro. Listen, Stephan Sterns, I know you're listening to this. I know you watch the show. I know your defense team watches the show, too. They shouted me out in court. They shouted me out. They said, true crime with strategic eyes. They shouted me out in court. They like me. I like you too. I bought a house, a car, fixed my teeth a little bit, got laser surgery for my eyes, from investigating sex crimes in the prison system before I became a police officer. Really, teeth getting fixed by the police department. Got the Invisalign, which I keep forgetting to put in my mouth. Retarded. I made a whole life out of investigating sex crimes that happened in the police department. Raised children off of that salary. It's real. And I don't wish that stuff on anybody because I investigate sex crimes. I'm a detective now on the streets, and I see how horrible it is to people. And I would not wish that on the bad guys. I'm just telling you the reality. I'm not being immature here and saying, oh, I hope Stephan Sterns get victimized in jail. That's not in my spirit. I'm telling you the reality of prison. He is a target. First of all, he's going to be extorted. There's no hits out on him. There's no money on his head. They don't do that for ex-offenders because everybody hates them. Why would you waste money to go after an ex-offender? They'll do it for free. If you heard that, that's bullshit. He's going to be on the bottom pecking order of the prison that he's going to be in. He's going to get extorted. He's going to get bullied. He's going to get beat up. And there's a good chance. There is a good chance. And I don't wish this on him. But there's a good chance that he is going to be essayed. How do I know this? Not because I'm trying to get your clicks and views, because I'm an expert in investigating sex crimes that happen in prisons. The lessons I learned investigating sex crimes that happen in prisons is what makes me such a good detective on the streets as I'm investigating sex crimes that happen with regular citizens now with the police department. I cut my chops in a prison system. And I'm telling you, that's one way they're going to think about punishing him for what he did to Madeline. They're not going to do it because they like him. They're not going to do it because they want pleasure. They're going to do it to torture him. Mark my words, ladies and gentlemen. We'll never know because he'll never talk about it. But it's a fact. Let's keep going.
Sterns may agree to a plea deal. Just 14 minutes before the end of business Friday, his defense team called for a hearing on Monday. The notice is short and to the point. Plea. Monday's hearing is the day before Sterns' sex crimes trial is supposed to start, and months before the beginning of the murder trial. Defense attorney Jeffrey Golub, who's not part of this case, says the timing is intentional.
Once they start one trial, they're not going to give them a deal in either case.
Prosecutors say Sterns repeatedly abused.
Hold on. Big shout out to Green Fairy, who's joining us from Scotland. Appreciate you. Somebody else showed me love. Let me scroll up. They said they finally caught a live. I like to shout out people who finally catch a live. Anita Blackstone says she finally caught a line live. Appreciate you for coming through. I think it was one more person. Whatever. Anyway, hit that like button, people. Make sure you support the channel. Now, I distinctly remember, because my memory is really good. I'm terrible with names, so I'm really good with facts. You got to be when you're a detective because people say things and you got to catch up on it. Wish I could tell you guys how I caught the guy this past weekend for a brutal sex assault on a woman. I wish I could tell you how I caught him. It is made for TV how I caught this guy. But anyway, I can't. Let me stop teasing you because I can't. Anyway, I distinctly remember William J. said no plea deals for Stephan Sterns. What changed? Because the only thing we know that changed was that we got back the order from the judge saying that the cell phone was admissible in court. That's a positive for the prosecution. So what changed, ladies and gentlemen? Because all we heard is good news for the prosecution. Why did William J. say no plea deals on this case? We're going to trial. We're seeking a death penalty. And now all of a sudden it's
dirt under the bridge.
Why is it dirt under the bridge, William J., a.k.a. Mr. Dirt Under the Bridge? Why is it dirt under the bridge?
Dirt under the bridge.
I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, but that's why I told you from the jump that you didn't have a rock star prosecution team. I told you, and you knew it because you followed that case, that he offered Sarah Boone 12 years in prison after we all watched with our own eyes and heard with our own ears her boyfriend say, please, Sarah, let me out of this suitcase. Please, I can't breathe, Sarah. I love you, Sarah. Please stop. This is not funny, Sarah. And what did she say? F you. Screw you. This is how it felt when you yell at me. This is how it feels when you hit me. Screw you. I'm not letting you out. We watched it and we heard it with our own eyes because Sarah recorded it. And he looked at that video and he gave Sarah Boone 12 years, but she's a psycho and she said, I don't want the deal. She went to trial. Now she's got life. Well, the same thing happened in this case because guess what? William J., Mr.
Dirt under the bridge.
He looked at the video footage. He saw what Stephan Sterns did to Mattie. He saw where Stephan Sterns put his members on that poor soul. And what is he offering now? A plea deal? Oh my gosh. I mean, this guy We got to give this guy the Medal of Honor of plea deals. Like, he should be voted, get in the Hall of Fame of plea deal attorneys. This guy will plea deal anything. Maybe he'll plea deal his own mama, no disrespect.
Ultimately killed 13-year-old Mattie Sodto last year. She was the daughter of Sterns' girlfriend. They all lived together in this apartment. Investigators found Mattie's body in woods near St. Cloud just a few days after she was reported missing. Sterns remains the only person ever criminally charged with Mattie's murder.
They would probably have a deal for life, and the reason for the deal would be to avoid the death penalty.
Over the past year and a half, it's a case that's gotten national media attention. It's also led to changes in absence notification policies at Orange County Public Schools. In that same time, the state built its 2 cases while Sterns' attorneys worked on their defense strategies. But now it's possible neither case will go to trial.
It is anticlimactic, of course, but it's really good for the family. I mean, they don't want to go through that. They don't want to hear that.
And that's exactly what a spokesperson.
Sorry about that. Confirming my son's eye doctor appointment. Let's keep going.
Person for Mattie's father says the upcoming trial, they say, would have reopened wounds. At the same time, the spokesperson told me that not going to trial.
Hold on. I want to hear what the spokesperson said. Hold on here.
And that's exactly what a spokesperson for Mattie's father says. The upcoming trial, they say, would have reopened wounds.
Listen, I got to get out of this mode because, all right, that's Madeline's father. That is Madeline's biological father, Tyler Wallace. All right. But every time I hear about this guy, it really pisses me off because anybody who really follows this case and really is objective with thought would know that he was a deadbeat dad. If you watched his interview that he did with the Orange County Sheriff's Office, it's an audio interview that he did over the phone. He clearly said that he basically abandoned Mattie. That's my words. Go watch it to hear his words, okay? It's all available. JLR has it. You can go on JLR's channel, whether you like him or not. I don't care. It's not my business. He has the goods. Go to JLR's channel and listen to the interview that Madeline Sodto's father did with Orange County Sheriff's Office, and you'll hear him talk about how sometimes he forgot to even call his own daughter. And he said it's his ADHD that made him forget to call her for months at a time, and then he'll just call her out of the blue and try and make like nothing happen. That's out of his mouth. That's not me shading him. Why would I want to shade a father that just lost his daughter? Why would I want to hate on him? Why would I want to cause him more pain by calling him names? I'm not calling him names. I'm simply calling out facts out of his own mouth, because if he didn't say it, we wouldn't know. So when I hear, oh, he's going to cause us pain, like, you know what, dude? She's not your daughter. She's our daughter, because we show more care in this short period of time of knowing about her unfortunate and tragic life than you did in her entire life, bro. But now she's gone. You want to be father of the year, and you got YouTubers backing you up that you're a nice guy. No, you're not a nice guy. Maybe you're a nice guy to your wife, but you wasn't a good father. And that's the only thing that matters on this planet once you have children. Your children is what matters. And if you fail them, it doesn't matter if you're a rocket scientist. It doesn't matter if you're a president of the United States. It doesn't matter if you're a doctor and you save lives every single day. If you fail your children, you are a failure of a man. Period. Full stop. Let's keep going.
At the same time, the spokesperson told me that not going to trial means, her words, there will never be a sense of closure. At 11 o'clock, the different pleas Sterns could submit next week. Live in Kissimmee, Mattie Martinez, Fox 35 News.
All right, bet. So now we're going to go over to, I didn't watch this, so hopefully I didn't pick like the worst video to actually showcase this. But this is the law office of Michael Ree. He posted this 10 years ago. I don't even know if he's still in business, because attorneys will close down offices and open new ones, form partnerships, whatever. This might be outdated, but it says here he's going to describe what is the difference between no contest and a guilty plea. And it doesn't matter where you are in the United States of America, these legal terms are going to be the same, okay? Because we have a constitution. People do things slightly differently from state to state, but at the end of the day, we all have to follow the same law. So let's listen to this. Hopefully it's a good explanation. I didn't listen to it yet.
Hi, my name is Michael Ree. I'm an attorney here in California. I practice criminal and DUI defense. And this is an informational video to... A common question I get is, what is the difference between a no contest or a guilty plea to a criminal charge, whether it be a general criminal charge or a DUI offense? This is just based on my understanding of the law, let me disclaim it. It's not any kind of a guarantee as to what the law actually is, but it's my understanding of the law, the current law. And keep in mind, laws evolve. What's current today might not be current tomorrow. So before you take any plea in court, you always have to consult with an attorney in court as to what exactly is going on. If you're not going to consult in court.
He's right. Consult with your attorney. Real quick, though, before we continue, please do hit that like button. We have over 500 people joining us today. We would love if you could support the channel by hitting the like button so that we could be seen by a larger audience in the algorithm. Let's keep going.
Or you're going to represent yourself, at least get some sort of a consultation from an attorney prior to taking it on yourself. That's the best legal advice I can give you. But in terms of this video, and in terms of my understanding of the law.
All right, wait, one more stop, and I apologize for that. I will not stop again. I want you guys to hear the difference between the no contest and the guilty plea. But people are gonna get mad at me. But you guys know I have no mercy. I'm a terrible, terrible person. Chrissy Lee, thank you so much for supporting the channel, says, I forgave my father as an adult, and we have an amazing relationship now. I wish Mattie had that chance. I hear you, and I'm so happy that that's great for you. But it's so easy to be a dad now that you're an adult. When you needed that person the most, they weren't there. I have no such forgiveness in my heart, okay? So yeah, good for you that you guys have a great relationship, but I don't respect these people, these men who abandon their children instead of taking care of them. My father did it to me. Yeah, I talk to him from time to time, but I don't forgive him. Whenever he try and act a fool, I let him know, hey, buddy, all right? I'm talking to you just because I don't want to hold that animus in my heart because you're old now. But let's not forget that when I needed you the most, you wasn't there. All right? So I have no mercy for these people. So yeah, you guys, women are much more forgiving than men. Y'all are much more forgiving. That's why the world is at peace, because we got women in there as a glue to hold this world together. But as men, we don't have no such feelings in our hearts. Your job was to take care of me, to mentor me, to nurture me, and to guide me through this horrible world that we call life. Right? If you abandon me, it will never be the same, because it's so much easier to be a father and a mentor when somebody's 40 years old compared to when they're 14 years old. So I have no respect for these men. Let's keep going.
There's really only one major difference between a no contest and a guilty plea. When you plead no contest in criminal court, first off, you have to understand it's going to be treated as a guilty plea by the court. And they specifically will advise you of that a no contest plea will be treated as a guilty plea, and they'll ask if you understand that. So it's not going to give you any kind of an advantage in criminal court as far as the sentence. Where it will give you a potential advantage is that a no contest plea on a misdemeanor cannot be used against you in a subsequent civil proceeding involving the underlying facts of the criminal case.
Oh, okay.
So, and a guilty plea can. So that's the real difference. If, let's say you get a first offense DUI and you hit a parked car. If you later get sued for, that would be a misdemeanor, by the way. If you later get sued and the owner of the car wants damages for his vehicle, then the fact that you pled guilty in court could be used against you in a civil proceeding. The fact you pled no contest, at least under the difference between the no contest and guilty plea, cannot be used against you in a civil proceeding. It precludes it from being admissible. It might be
okay. I like this. Okay, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that. As a law enforcement officer, I didn't know that. What I want to do, though, is because he's using the examples between a DUI and stuff which is his specialty. I want to go ahead and bring it back to me, and I want to find a video that is more applicable to serious felonies. It doesn't have to necessarily be SA and stuff like that, but I think serious felonies are probably more aligned with what we're dealing with here with the Mattie Sodto case. Big shout out to Crochet and Crime with a $2 super chat, says Mattie was failed by every single adult. I agree 1,000%. And now listen, I'm not trying to go on and on about this, especially with my personal life. I have shared this with you guys growing up without a father. I think that I don't share too much about my personal life, but I share some things because I think people could learn from it. I'd like to also add why I have no respect for men who abandon their children is not just how I felt as a child and even as an adult growing up, not having a father, even though I know my father is alive and he's running all over the place, living his best life and all that good stuff, is also remembering the struggle that my mother went through raising us, remembering all those nights where I went to bed with an empty stomach, having to get my school clothes from the church donation bin, running the streets and not having the knowledge of how to treat women, how to treat myself, etc. Being a little savage. Why? Because I didn't have any male adult to teach me how to channel these different energies that were brewing inside of my mind and my body and my spirit being a young man. When I think about all those things, it just adds fuel to that fire, because you're not supposed to go through those struggles alone. You know what I'm saying? If you have a dad that's active in your life, whether your dad is with your mother or not, you can't make people stay together, but you would have somebody who could come and say, you know what? Well, you guys fell behind on the bills. Here's some extra to make sure that you eat. You know what I'm saying? No, you have somebody, they're not putting Fendi on you and Gucci on you, but you're always going to have school clothes, even if you're walking into school with Payless shoes, right? Remember Payless back in the old days? So when I think about all those things, that not only the effect it had on me and my sisters and my brother, but also the effect that it had on my mother, the struggle she had to go through rearing us and getting us to this point. And then this last point here, and some people are like, well, we don't care about your personal life, Strategic. We're here for Mattie Sodto. I get it. I'll be done now. Seeing the struggle that my mother went through to eventually find all of her children that are alive, God rest my brother's soul, being professional people in law enforcement. All of us are in law enforcement in different capacities. All of us serve the people. All of us save lives. All of us are committed to a life of service. It's almost like me disrespecting her if I now allow this man to have credit for the hard work that she did. The hard work that she did. So yeah, that's why it's hard for me to forgive, because it's not just about what I went through, it's also what I saw my mother go through, and also my sisters and my brother, my dearly departed and deceased brother, older brother. All right, pleading no contest for felonies. But maybe I'm talking with a trauma brain. Somebody be out there like, no, Strategic, you are traumatized, and that's why you act like that, and you feel that way. You got to do better. You got to do better, Strategic. There's always going to be one person. That bleeding heart person that's a much better person than me. Let's do it.
What you need to know about plea deals before you enter the courtroom. Is there a difference between a guilty plea and a no contest plea? We know what a guilty plea is. You're throwing yourself at the mercy of the resolution of the case. But what about a no contest plea? A no contest plea, many people think, well, if I plead to no contest, I'm either not going to be convicted or I never really pled to it. The reality of it is judges will hear no contest as essentially saying, I plead to the arrangement, and a judge will say, how do you plead to this case? Guilty or not guilty? If you say no contest, the judge will say, I'll find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. I'll accept your plea of no contest, and they'll still sentence you either way. I'll find that there.
All right. So, okay. I like that. That is what happens in court. I want somebody to expand on that a little bit more.
I am often asked, what is the difference between a plea of guilty and a plea of nolo contendere? Well, practically speaking, they both have the same effect, that a plea of guilty or nolo contendere results in a criminal conviction, which will be on an individual's record unless they receive either a governor's pardon or pardon from the United States of America. A guilty plea is just that. Your Honor, I have listened to the facts of the case, and I am pleading guilty because I am in fact guilty. Nolo contendere is a little bit different. It is, Your Honor, I know the facts of the case, and I do not have a legal defense to those facts. That may be appropriate in a situation where someone simply blacks out and does not remember committing a criminal offense, but where the evidence is clear and where intoxication, for example, is simply not a defense. If you have any questions about your rights, please do not hesitate to reach out.
Interesting. So what do I think? Because we got to get out of here. I need some time just to do a few things before the actual show starts at 1:30. So what do I think? Let me bring the camera view back to me. Let me put myself in the middle too. I want to be front and center. What do I think?
Oh my God!
What do I think? What do I think? All right, this is what I think. I don't know what Sterns is going to do, but I know that if he does one thing, it's going to be problematic for me. It's going to piss me off.
Oh hell no!
So let me explain to you what I'm thinking, what's going on in my mind's eye, right? If Sterns pleads no contest, to me, all right, so here we go. Sterns could be deciding just to plead guilty with no deal, which would make absolutely no sense whatsoever, right? Because if he pleads guilty, like there's no deal on the table, I'm showing up today because I want to plead guilty. If he pleads guilty, then he sets himself up to the murder trial where he's guaranteed to be found guilty there, and he's basically just putting himself at the mercy of the court as to whether they want to give him the death penalty or not, right? So that makes no sense whatsoever for Stephan Sterns to plead guilty with no deal, right? Now, it says plea. So that means that there's a plea deal, right? So that's most likely not happening. Most likely what's happening is Stephan Sterns has taken a plea deal, which means that the defense and the prosecution came together behind the scenes, had conversations, and have worked out a deal that both sides have agreed to. If Stephan Sterns pleads no contest, that means that the prosecution agreed with him pleading no contest. If the prosecution allows him to plead no contest, that means Mattie was simply
dirt under the bridge
to them. Mattie did not matter to them. Mattie was
dirt under the bridge.
And I got a problem with that, ladies and gentlemen. If Stephan Sterns pleads guilty and he acknowledges what he did, and he's willing to give a statement as to why he did it, and the prosecution gives him that deal, then it is what it is. That's how it works out in court sometimes. Sometimes they just take plea deals. But I will be extremely pissed off if he pleads no contest, because for him to agree to plead no contest, that means the prosecution has to agree with it. You understand that, guys? When you do a plea deal, everything is agreed to. Everything is agreed to in a plea deal. You can't say, yeah, I'll take your plea deal, but I haven't decided whether I'm going to plead guilty or no contest first. I'll figure it out. You'll find out on the date of court what I decide to do. I'll sleep on it. I'll see how I feel about it the other day. Maybe I'll be guilty. Maybe I'll be no contest. I don't know. It's how I feel. I don't know. Hell no. No. If he pleads no contest, William J. knew about it.
Dirt under the bridge.
You knew about it, William J., and I'm going to be pissed. And I'm starting to get the William J. out of office. GoFundMe, not GoFundMe, whatever they call it. What's the name of the thing? The petition site? We're going to do. Nah, I'm not going to do that. We don't do that. We're not going to hate on him for doing what he's doing. I don't agree with him, but I'm not going to mess with his money. There's a lot of losers on the YouTube and these other platforms that like to mess with people's money. I don't do that. So anyway, I would just be very disappointed in him. If he decides to allow this duty head to plead no contest, I'm going to be really disappointed, and I'm going to be sad, and I'm going to hope that he will do better in the future. So anyway, guys, that's what I think about it. I think that whatever he does, it's most likely agreed upon by William J. So I'm looking forward to see just how lenient William J. is willing to be with this person.
Dirt under the bridge.
Who he could have gotten convicted of murder and sentenced to death. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit that like button. We have almost 700 people watching us right now and only 282 likes. We really would appreciate that at least on your way out the door, you hit that like button. Also know that at 1:30 Eastern time, we will be back here on YouTube streaming the court case of Mattie Sodto, her murderer and rapist, deciding whether he's going to be pleading guilty or no contest or whatever. We're going to figure it out together. So make sure you come back here on True Crime and Strategic and you watch it with me. I hope we see 1,000 people in that live stream watching that show. Hit that like button, support the channel, leave something in the comment section for the engagement and the algorithm. And lastly, remember, we have a membership and a Patreon. Join the membership, join the Patreon, support the channel. I'll see you guys on the next one. Let me cue up that outro. Strategic is out of here. Until 1:30 p.m. Eastern time today. Peace. Hey, what's up, guys? Look like I missed a few things, man. First of all, we had five gift membership from Dr. Cataclysm. I think we called that out. KCC is now a recruit member of True Crime and Strategic. We appreciate you, Casey. Thank you so much. Crochet with a $2 super chat says Mattie was failed by every single dog. I think we read that one out. Dr. Cataclysm with a $2 gift super chat says this is similar to why Crosby got out. Oh, Cosby got out. Okay. Cool. A 5 gift membership from Amanda Coughlin. So whoever got that 5 gift membership, please do thank Amanda for her generosity. I've never seen a gift membership from Amanda before. So thank you so much, Amanda, for supporting the channel. I think we got everybody. My apologies. Sometimes I got so many screens to worry about. I'll sometimes miss out on some of these super chats, but please know that I'm forever grateful for any and everybody who's willing to support the channel. And lastly, the end of the poll is 78% believe that he should get the death penalty, and 21% are satisfied with life without parole. And Nelly Belly Funhouse is celebrating 12 months as a member with True Crime Strategic. And Michelle DeMattias is celebrating 6 months as a recruit member with True Crime with Strategic. I'll see you guys on the next one. Strategic is out of here.